Hey there friends, and welcome to day 12 of our 12 Days of Christmas in July tutorial series here on my channel. If you're just joining in, you can find links to the first 11 days at the top of the description so you can get caught up. And if you're new around here, I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button to join our crafty little family. Today we're creating a nature-inspired tri-fold slimline greeting card. If that sounds good to you, stick with me and we'll make it together. Before we get going, just a quick reminder to watch out for the question of the day. Now let's get started. So we're going to use the Cozy Winter collection from P13. I picked this up from scrapbook.com. In fact, I got the paper pad last year and I was waiting to order because they had a companion set of die cuts, and I was waiting and they just never became available at the time when I needed to write my order. So I didn't get them last year, and I was so excited to see them still available. I picked them up this year, just something to use as layering elements. And when they arrived, I was quite surprised at how small they were. And so I wasn't able to use them in the way that I had hoped to. I still pulled one out of here for today's project, but I'm going to have to rethink the plan on how to use this ephemera pack. But I think sometimes if you've not ordered ephemera from a brand, you're not quite sure exactly what you're going to get. So I might not order ephemera from P13 again, but you really don't always need to, because they have a really beautiful cut apart sheet, and I do not mind fussy cutting these out. And so you're going to get quite a lot of different elements here that you can use for creating a scene or, filling in a focal image. So I think that I will continue to order this brand because it's beautiful, but I may pass on that ephemera pack. I did notice also that this collection seems to coordinate really well with my printable here. This is just one of the digital images that I have available in my shop, and I've actually used these together. So I think that would be another alternative for me to have a focal image, one of these tags that match so well. So our card for today is a tri-fold slimline, and I really do love to make slimline cards. I don't really love to photograph them, but this profile is so fun to create because it kind of pulls you out of your comfort zone. And so this is going to be a piece of 65 pound weight cardstock for the base. It's 9 inches high and 12 3/8 inches wide. I have it scored at 4 and 4 1/4. And then also 8 1/4 and 8 3/8. And so when this folds up, we're going to have a little bit of room for this side and a little bit more for this side to accommodate the paper layers that we're adding. So in total, we're going to have a finished card of 4 by 9. And so that's kind of a standard slimline card base. You're going to have some panels to cover all of these sections, and because these are larger panels and because these panels are larger, I was able to utilize some of the bigger prints in the collection that might get lost in a layering situation if you were making a smaller card. And for this card, I switched from my regular vintagey green to one that was more of a sage, and I think it blends a little better with my nature inspired collection. So I'm going to skip the front for now, and then we can start working on the panel sections on the inside. So I'm aware of how the combinations will work together, and so I'm going to put that beautiful branch pattern on the inside, and then I also have that it's kind of a rope. It makes a geometric sort of pattern, but I just love that it's non-contrasting, so it is not busy and it definitely reads as a neutral. I have another piece of that beautiful branch, and that's going to go on the first page that you would see when you flip it open. And the measurements for the cardstock for this panel is going to be 8 7/8 inches high by 3 7/8 inches wide, and the pattern paper is 8 3/4 by 3 3/4, and that's going to give you the cardstock border as well as the border from the base. So you're going to get 2 layers of border. And then here is that last panel on the inside, and so I picked that rope pattern again. And so this is going to be kind of a nice balance where we have the more floral pattern on the inside and the geometric on the outside. I do want to finish the back as well And like I said, I had to cut into the papers so that I could get the larger sizes. There was a little bit of offcut, and I combined them so that I could fill in that full space. So the actual measurements are the same. I just paired some patterns together to fill that in. And I think that will look really nice on the back. So now I want to work on the cover, and I'm gonna go back to that rope pattern because it is a neutral. Now there is a very subtle scripty font in the background. You can barely see it even close up. So I'm not concerned that the direction of it is going in the wrong way for this profile of card, but I want to break up that geometric and bring back our branch pattern. So this is going to be a raised section, and I have the cardstock cut to be 8 high by 3 wide, and the pattern paper is 7 7/8 by 2 7/8, and this is going to be well supported with that dimensional tape underneath. I'm going to center this, and that is our first dimensional layer. So I have an additional layer of the pattern paper that I'm going to put over top of this, and it will not show so much because we have large floral arrangements, but I did want to break up a little bit of that kind of pattern in the back so that our focal image would be more of a standout from the background and not blend in so much. So I cut this piece, and this is still going to be 2 7/8 inch wide, so it will fit within the border of that raised section that we added. And I did put some of the green cardstock at the top and bottom. I don't think it shows at all, but I felt better for the effort while I was working along, and you don't really know how everything's going to shake out until you get it all adhered. So this also has a little bit of that beautiful whimsical house image and more pine cones. So instead of putting it right in the center, I'm going to position it higher so that it will show even when I have all of the florals on in the layering focal image. So I'm just going to add that here, and that is just with my double-sided tape. We don't have dimension on this. So I would normally go with a white doily for my projects just to break up the patterns underneath so that my focal image would stand out better. But because this is so light, I decided to use that same sage green as my doily. This is pretty small, and I'm going to position it. You see, I don't want to hide too much of this. I know the corner will be filled with our flowers, so I'm going to just shift it. Only a very small amount of it hangs over the side. I don't want that to become fragile. And so for our focal image, I'm going to be using the Lawn Fawn stitched ornaments, and I picked this up. I'm so excited to work with this. Not all the projects I have planned are for Christmas, so keep that in mind. But I did use the larger size of that die cut along with the topper, and so I went to one of the journal cards for this because I wanted a little bit of pattern, but I wanted it to be pretty neutral in the background. So when you cut with that die, it has this stitched edge on the part that you cut out, and then it also has this stitched edge on what is left behind. So this would be perfect if you want to make a shadow box or a shaker card. You can still have that detail with what is cut out from the middle. And so this would be a fun way to, you know, make another Christmas card with the scraps that were left over and just fill this with sequins. So here's what we've got, and I did add the topper to it. I cut that from a mirror cardstock because I think that just looks more authentic, like a regular ornament. And I'm gonna hang this, and I don't mean hang, I'm gonna position this. I did put foam tape behind it, so here's another layer of dimension. I just kind of wanna bring it down a little bit so that I have most of that ornament showing. There will be pretty large florals, but I think most of that will show. And then most of the little house shows as well. So I did want to break up a little bit of that neutral, so I went back to that rope pattern. I just cut an additional ornament from that pattern, and then I clipped off the edges so that I would retain that stitched edge, and I did put more of the green cardstock to separate those patterns. And it's just pretty easy to line that up going straight across. And so this will be an added detail for my ornament. Now this one I put on with some double-sided tape. There's no dimension on that, but you could build up all of your layers, and that would be a fun way to get a lot of depth. So here is the one die cut ephemera piece from that pack that I thought would work with this. And so it's just a little envelope with postage. The images on those stamps are very sweet. It would be hard to show. I don't know if that will even pick up, probably not, but it's just a little snowman and a winter scene. And then there seems to be some more of those branches tucked inside with some twine. So this is popped up on a spacer, and I'm just kind of offset that at an angle so that it's sort of nestled in the center of that ornament. Now I'm going to bring in my flower arrangements, and these are pretty large even for me for this card. And so is there a lot of flowers? Yes. Do I feel bad about that? No, because I think this absolutely looks perfect on this card. So there's little birdie craft flowers here along with some die cut branch. I'm going to share with you the name. This is a pine needle sprig. It comes in part of a set of 2. That's from Gina Marie Designs. I usually die cut the smaller one, and then I cut those pieces apart and I reposition them. Otherwise, they're kind of too long for my projects and they tend to hang off. I'm also incorporating the pine cones here from Gina Marie Design. This is the pine cone set. There are 2 sizes of that as well, and I'm always using the smaller one. I've not ever actually cut the big one, so the smaller one just seems to be a better fit for cards. And so I have 2 arrangements here, and I've got a little bit of trim to finish off those corners. So this is that beautiful green stitched satin ribbon that I've used a few times. Now you can see there are 2 sizes of these flowers. One has the green flower in the middle and 2 white flowers to balance it. And the one on the bottom has 1 green and 1 white. And they both have 2 of the pine cones, but I wanted the smaller one on the bottom so that that little house would show. And of course I did finish it with a little bit of netting and some twine. So the leaves that are here actually come on these flowers. Most of the Little Birdie Craft flowers do have these leaves. I always take them off and glue them back together so that they're more visible. Usually you only see just a tiny little edge of them and they're spaced quite wide apart. So if I want to get more impact out of that, I want to pull that off and glue them back together and then add them further out from the center of the card or the flower so that, you know, you get more mileage out of that flower foliage. And so I want to position this all the way up to the top. You can see that that really will fill in that space nicely. So for the top one, I did add a little bit of spacer underneath the pine cones because I knew it was going to have to be positioned slightly over top of the ornament hanger. So I did put a little bit of spacer there to help support that. I know a lot of that ornament hanger doesn't show, but just enough so that you get the idea of it is there. And now that is positioned on that side. Let's go ahead and adhere this one to the bottom. And that's just going to kind of follow the corner as well. And so here is our card. Now it's time for the question of the day. What is your favorite project from the 12 Days of Christmas in July series? Let me know in the comments below. And now it's time for the giveaway. So one lucky winner will receive a $25 gift card to Amazon. And if you'd like to enter your name for a chance to win, there's just 2 simple steps. Comment on all of the projects we shared during the 12 Days of Christmas series and be a subscriber to Polly's Paper Studio YouTube channel. You can enter as soon as this video goes live July 24th at 7 p.m. p.m. Eastern Time, all the way through July 26th at midnight Eastern Time. We're going to have a special video on Wednesday the 27th to draw the name of the winner. Please be a good sport and enter only one time per person. This contest is open to residents of the continental United States only, and I'm wishing good luck for everyone who enters. So that's all for our nature-inspired trifold greeting card for the last day of our 12 Days of Christmas in July series. Thank you to everyone who joined me for this series. I love reading all of your comments for the question of the day. It's a way that I can get to know all of you a little better, so it's very special to me. If you enjoyed this tutorial, remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and you can find links to the products I mentioned, as well as for all our socials in the description below. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye!